Retail is great for placemaking because retail brings people, it's the sort of testosterone that kind of floods into city centres and energises it and makes it all alive. The challenge is that whilst retail is dynamic and interesting and exciting and changes all the time, architecture doesn't. You build for 25 years, you build for 30 years. So the idea of having very reactive, responsive architecture is probably naive. What the architecture really needs to do is to be quite loose fit and quite flexible, playful in its own way, but creating spaces which naturally are good for people, so they can adapt to all sorts of different uses, but they always feel good. And that's about materials, it's about lighting, all those good things, but mostly it's about the activity that happens around them. The other thing about placemaking and retail architecture is that we now all tend to be quite precious about our buildings, but with retail buildings you can't be precious. We've actually now refurbished projects that we did ourselves 20 years ago. Buildings need to change and adapt, and that's not a new idea. 100 years ago or 200 years ago it would have been perfectly normal to have a building that might have been a house that would become an art gallery, that would become a museum or a hospital or whatever else. It's only quite recently that we've become precious about our buildings.